This is comedy, motherfuckers. What up to the laughing stock? Happy new fucking year, baby. We're cruising on into it. And I took my time getting back into this little recording habit. This little podcast fun I like to have. You know, the holidays come around, we like to do our little family bullshit. So, we're back with a banger. I've got a great guest. Really, I'm honored he would take the time to come on. He's got a busy fucking schedule. We all do, right? But he took the time to pull up, and I appreciate it. He is a fellow Michigander, but he is living in the great state of Texas, pushing his comedy, doing what he can. He's got some great bits out there. Pull up to his social media, you'll see what I'm talking about. I promise you we'll have all the socials posted so you'll know where to follow him. My buddy Ken Wood. Ken, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fucking awesome, man. How are you?
Dude, it's a good night. I'm chilling. Like I said, shit's been cruising for me. Again, thank you for coming on, bro. Like it means a lot that you'd come on. This podcast is just my little way to shout into the fucking world and not give a fuck. I don't care about too much bullshit, right? I like to play devil's advocate on certain things, but everything is worth an opinion. So, like, thanks for coming on, man.
No problem, man. No problem. Thank you for having me, dude. I'm very excited to do this. Yeah, thank you for supporting me over the years too, man. You are very well known in my notifications, I should say. Like, you like a lot of my shit, man, and I really appreciate that, dude. Twitter sucks now. I hate it. So we can talk about that. We can talk about how much I hate X. But and how much I appreciate you, dude, for making X a little less shitty for me, man.
Real shit. No. That's one of my lead-ins. I don't know how you knew to bring that up, but yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I already told you about it before, but if you go onto your page, and I was standing there with my fucking mom showing her, like, look at this really funny guy I know. He's from Michigan. And the fucking video, what white people do, remove my like, and it just keeps removing my like over and over and over again. And it's annoying because I can't even support what you do without social media getting involved and having a problem with, I don't know, you're not one of these people on the Epstein list, you know. There's a lot worse going on out there. And
yeah, I wish I was too, man. I wish I was in that circle. Like, come on, dude. You don't think I'd like to go to a Diddy party? I'm not saying I would partake in extracurricular activities, but I mean, like, there's probably some cool celebrities there. You're telling me you wouldn't want to party with J-Lo at a Diddy party?
I mean, an opportunity to mingle, it does sound interesting, but you got to be a little cautious because the next thing you know, you're showing up in one of those tapes and they're trying to get you to Pinocchio, and nobody's going to Geppetto my ass, man. Fuck that. Not for some stinky Mariah Carey BBL. Like, I can't do it, dude.
I'm a big networking guy. I like to network, you know?
True.
I like to go to Punch Bowl socials. I like to, hang around the punch bowl, and talk to, interesting people and network and hand out business cards. So I would love to go to a Diddy party.
No, I
picture them in all white.
I think that's from the cum stains, man. I don't think that's natural to the attire, but no, I get you. I'm like a water cooler guy myself, Everybody wants to kind of be around the moment, have a little fun, and not be too uptight. Like, that's not the fucking point of life. Everybody's not supposed to be a dickhead, and you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Diddy was a piece of shit, or maybe he was just a guy who was really good at what he did, and fucking things are sometimes misconstrued. Like, I know a lot about hip hop, and I'm not the biggest expert, but I know people from our underground scene that aren't even alive anymore, like Blade Icewood. So when I talk
I do
about
remember that.
the shit I know about Diddy, it's like I know that he was one of the smart motherfuckers who came into that scene, and he was able to, when he got fucking rejected by the whole scene and people tried to get him out early. He got Biggie and he said, "No, I'm just gonna have house parties, make everybody come here, get them addicted to drugs, and start doing this shit to encroach people." And it's funny the way he played it out clever, and we can all say alleged or whatever. The 50 Cent documentary that he fucking just did on him, that shit was
Yeah.
hilarious. But it's like, no matter what way you look at it, look at Suge Knight when he went on to fucking God, what night show was that? Kimmel, and was talking about it's an Easy E thing with the needle and AIDS, and
Wait,
you know
Suge Knight went
like,
on Kimmel or
yeah,
any
no
late night
bullshit.
show?
I'm talking about way, way, way back in the day, and this is when he had power and influence. He just wanted to go
Oh,
on a night show to flex that he could, and yeah, he was talking about how little Easy
that's
E
awesome.
thing he called it, and that was an insane thing to say on live fucking television. I think it was Kimmel when he was super young, before he started looking like Jeremiah Johnson with the beard, and he's just all fucking very like trying to play it cool. And I think Suge's smoking a fucking cigar too, back when you could do that and get away with
Yeah,
it.
that's
And
pretty boss.
yeah, it was a
That's pretty
different era,
boss.
man. They don't let that shit fly anymore. But I mean, for better or worse, here we are, and a lot of these monoliths, they're going down heavy. I mean, Diddy can't even get fucking ramen out of the commissary. He's locked down Akon style, and I don't know if he's coming
Yeah.
back. It's looking a little dark, dude. So I'll take my freedom. I mean, we can all complain and try and cast stones here and there. Like, I don't think shit's perfect on any level. Look at the Maduro shit. I wanted to talk about that, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
already
yeah.
fucking like out of control. Where I'm not taking a side. I've been very like on this podcast. I'm not for or against Trump or anybody. I'm very much a true neutral, Ken. I don't like to take sides. George Carlin was right. It's a shit show. I got
Yeah,
a
yeah,
front seat
definitely.
to it, and sometimes Trump is funny, sometimes he's insane, and those go both ways. But this whole Maduro shit, like, if it's true and they're all drug dealers, that's great. But we did just kind of go in fucking Bay of Pig style Cuba, and like to really fucking this
Dude,
time we
I
did it right, and that's insane to me, man.
I saw one of the funniest tweets I've seen in a while today, like just an hour ago, where it was like the classic meme of the guy like waking up, not knowing what's happening, and it's like Manduro waking up, wondering why he's hearing Fortunate Son at 3 a.m. And I thought that was fucking great, dude. Uh, the whole thing though is like, it's like, do you know the history of this situation?
No, and I'd love for you to fucking flatter myself and the viewers,
Dude,
please.
oh man, dude, it's so fucked, man. It's pretty complicated on all aspects just because you got the US invested money into Venezuela's oil, then and Venezuela basically stole all the infrastructure and basically billions of dollars from America and American companies. They were ordered to pay 15 to 20 billion in international court. They never did it. So there's that issue, and that's where the oil kind of comes in because they're the largest oil reserve in the country and or in the world. And so when they fucked us over, they also kind of gave access to their oil to our enemies, China, Russia. I saw a report today that someone from Russia was basically saying that the U.S. having control of their oil could sink Russia's economy. So there's all that shit. There's the
Hmm.
drug shit. Even though like the drug boats and everything, supposedly looking into this, not a lot of fentanyl or even cocaine comes from Venezuela. Now, obviously, there is a lot, and there's a lot that makes it to the U.S., but it's mainly like Europe is getting most of Venezuela's hard drugs. Regardless, before I go forward with anything else, I support the bombing of drug boats. I'm not even going to
Right.
go into that. Bomb drug boats. I don't really give a shit. Fuck fentanyl. But when it
No,
comes to
for no, for real, dude.
when it comes to the Maduro shit, uh, it's like today I posted on my Instagram, like it was a tweet from Joe Biden in 2020, I think, and it was like Donald Trump loves dictator thugs like Maduro. He doesn't have the strength to stand up to him. I'm going to stand with the people of Venezuela and democracy. And there's a bunch of clips on CNN from like 2019 of them basically saying that Trump's Maduro's friend and he's Putin's puppet for being friends with him and recognizing the election. Because also like I don't think the UN recognizes Maduro as the president of Venezuela because he stole, like, for sure stole the last election. That's what every major country is saying. So he's an illegitimate president who's a dictator who has had a 27-year reign of killing protesters, killing opposition, yada yada yada, the drugs, everything. Like I saw the video of today of a truck running over a bunch of protesters from some year I don't know.
Wow.
So there's a lot, and also during the Biden administration had a $25 million bounty on his head for his arrest. So
Holy shit.
yeah, so there is like, and here's what I'll say, because like when I'm saying all this, it kind of sounds like I'm for it, right?
No, not at all. I think you're just being objective, but go ahead.
Yes, as people fucking should, man. People should learn about this and learn, like everything I'm speaking to you, I've learned like today. So I'm not an expert. I just like look up shit and like AI it, and then AI like certain questions from within that question and try to find sources. Um, so there's all that, and it basically why I say I wouldn't support it is because I'm almost a libertarian in the sense of I don't support American regime changes in other countries. I think that
Okay.
that's a dangerous game.
It is.
It's a very dangerous game for many reasons. A lot of times it creates uh like unstable countries, which in this case Venezuela is already unstable. And so the next two the president electees they're looking at is either the girl who just won the Nobel Peace Prize over Trump or the guy who was supposed to win the last election. And supposedly he proved that he won the last election, and they didn't have a transition of power because the guy stole the election. So I just think American regime changes are very, very dangerous. And I think that in the long term, they do not help us because it creates enemies long terms. I don't know. I think you can look at the Middle East and say that.
I know
Iran,
you're not implying that angle, but I've seen a lot of people suggest that, and I think purporting that is also dangerous. Not again, not that you are, but there's people that are using specific language about shit when in reality it could be a completely different scenario than people want to give it credit. And you don't have to necessarily support something to know that. I mean, I saw reports that China was there hours beforehand meeting
yeah.
there and trying, who knows what kind of deals they're setting up. And again, I don't have any, ni hao ma, I don't have any problems with my Chinese brothers and sisters. It's just I understand some of the measures at hand, and if you have to, I don't want to say a hand was forced, but there's a lot of provocation and people using justification. That's the same argument that Russia used about going into Ukraine, that they felt provoked about the encroachment,
Yeah,
but it's also the same thing that Israel's been trying to say about Palestine. So people try to
essentially,
apply that
yeah.
shit in a inappropriate way sometimes, and it's like you don't get to use that freely universally. It's not the same thing when there's real bad shit out there happening and like not identifying it correctly or letting it get misidentified. That's such a huge fucking issue that like I'm already getting a little upset talking about it, but it's just frustrating because you got dimwits out there who you've lived in the same fucking town for 40 years and you've worked at the same job for what, 30 of those 40 because you worked young, and You think
Yeah.
you should talk about a country you've never been to, that you've seen in movies, fantasized about some fucking dude with a towel and a sword. You saw Indiana Jones, so, oh, they're all
Yeah, I was just gonna say
savages.
that.
They're all monsters and rapists and murderers and they're thieves and they steal women and yeah, sure, let's just think everybody's like that and then we never go outside and we all become schizophrenic and then we just
Right.
murder ourselves and like maybe that's the answer, leave the planet empty
It's-
for the animals or something. I don't know because people are just the other suggestion is like we try to find these weird ways into I don't know. A couple episodes I talked about the moment that the rat recognizes it's in a maze and it doesn't want to be a lab rat anymore and it escapes. What do the people in the room do? They don't put the rat back in the cage. They're like, oh, this is a defective one, so we just got to kill it.
yeah.
It's only the rats that want to keep going through the maze and getting the reward that stay around. And not a lot of people are either brave enough or aware enough about what some of the real shit you should be looking at is. And I mean, Kurt Metzger, I saw that video. He pointed that shit out about Venezuela way back. Like, he knew we were going there. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks Kurt's crazy, but the dude knows a lot of shit. So it's funny that it's always comedy that, the hints of truth seem to sneak by and people don't pick up on it. And, it's not like we're the fucking wise sayers, but there's a reason
Right.
why people look to us for answers sometimes. Or, when Cat Williams spends 3 hours on Club Shay Shay getting drunk, they listen to the truth he's spitting. There's a reason why shit like that goes down in comedies, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
always a good feeling. But yeah, some of this shit is hard to see out in this. I don't know, man. I could
Honestly,
go on
dude.
and on like a broken record, dude.
Yeah. Well, honestly, everyone is just like, regardless if it's left or right, everyone is just very ill informed, and then we live in a microwave society to where everyone feels like they need to be the first one to have an opinion. And it's
Yeah.
like all the facts that I just told you like 5 minutes ago. Like I said, I learned all of that like today and yesterday from just like looking up shit and trying to develop an opinion on it.
Right.
Most of the people that I know posting about this, and even a couple comedians, they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And usually it's like more, I'm talking more local Detroit guys, because that's who I'm seeing on my Facebook feed that's pissing me off today.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not, I don't think I've seen one like actual Venezuelan mad about this. Like I've seen people in Chile and South
Right.
Florida protest for it, like they were happy about it. I've seen a lot of like actual
And I
Venezuelans
saw the
happy
war
about it.
declaration. I saw that declaration of war from the fucking that general or whatever that survived. I saw that shit.
I did
But
see
I
that
agree
too.
with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
The people have not seemed like, oh, death to America. It hasn't been that vibe. I agree with you.
Well, no, well, especially the people abroad. Like, there's obviously the people that escaped it are obviously very happy. Now, I don't know. I don't think there's really been any videos from Venezuela of protest or death to America type shit because I know like Twitter was banned there or X was banned there up until like yesterday or today. So like they had a lot of like there was some serious like dictator censorship going on there.
Hmm.
So and even like and it kind of goes back to my point of changing regimes and it not working out in our favor. Even if all the people are abroad and the U.S. are happy with this, even if 60 or 70% of the actual people that live in Venezuela are happy with this change, there's still that little percent that wants the regime to stay.
Yeah.
And that little percent will probably have more influence over the rest of the country in the next 30 to 40 years. And
It'll
things
be
get
interesting to see how that plays out because I agree there's
very,
going to be Maduro loyalists and they're going to do the same things that the Nazis did. They're going to find ways to infiltrate and fucking I mean, I've been told very peculiar but true things about the way you can win certain wars is not by fighting people or trying to blow them up or whatever, but you get your women to fucking get with them, have kids, and then you slowly change the culture through a different thought process through the next
Yeah,
generation, which is a like kind of a chilling thing to think about. You see that shit in movies and whatnot, but when you hear people talk about it openly, and you're like, oh, I get it. You're not really saying your children are cattle, but so that your way of
yeah,
life and your people don't go extinct. This is the sacrifice you guys want to make now to try and have some kind of future. And that's not even with a guarantee. That could fail and not work out, but not everybody gets a chance or an option. I mean, my people, the Irish, they have not been free. They've been indentured servants for a while, and
right.
we just now recently got our freedom, and that's kind of going weird. Where like North Ireland is still, a different story, and I mean. I could go on and on about that shit, but it's weird how sometimes that shit changes in a way where, like you said, you don't know how to anticipate where it's going to go once you've added that influence. And I guess that's why in Star Trek, they had the no not interference plot policy. They don't want to fuck up whatever
Right.
could happen by bringing in their bullshit. And yeah, I've tried to be cautious of that myself. Like, I don't know, especially, dude, boil it down to comedy. I don't want to fuck up the bit sometimes, and you got to let somebody go with the flow and riff it out. Like, you have to know when to add a little bit of the sweet and sour to it. But, like, I've seen people taint good comedy just by. And I'm not even just talking about hecklers in the crowd, because hecklers can make shit better, but
Right, right.
I've just seen people throw away great comedy because they don't have the patience, or they're in such a hurry to get out whatever the fuck they think is important. Or like you said, be the first to know something or say something or do something. And it's not always about showing up first. I know that's been ingrained to us to go fast Sonic style, but there is something to be said about knowing how to be the alley to the oop. You know,
Right.
the,
Without a
the,
doubt, yeah, without a doubt. Like even especially when it comes to comedy, I've been doing sketches for so long. Like I look at sketches as like almost like a sports team or a basketball team where I'm like everyone has their role.
yeah,
Like I'll write a sketch. Like there's a guy I'm working with out here, and I'm writing sketches for his strengths. Like we did a sketch together, and I wasn't even in the sketch. I just directed it and edited it and helped write it because I was like, this doesn't need me. Like forcing myself into it would take away from it. And
see,
like
I like
I
that a lot. I respect the fuck out of that. You knew exactly what it did or did not need, and that
yeah.
humbleness, that's cool, dude. Sorry to like interrupt. That was
No, no,
really cool,
you're
man.
good. Yeah, no, you're good. And it's like going forward, like I said, going forward or back to the what was I just about to say? When it I forget what the point I was trying to connect this to, but I was gonna say that
I'm stoned,
comedians
so don't worry.
yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, me too. But like when it comes to trying to make a point super fast, I feel like comedians are really just people at this point, but even comedians at this point, like there's so many comedians and entertainers that have a team now. It's blue team versus
Yeah.
red team. And you got to stick up for that team no matter fucking what, because if you don't stick up for them on this issue, people are going to try to belittle you for the other issues that you did stick up for. Or I don't know. It's just fucking weird, dude.
No, you're
And
right.
and now like for me like 2 3 years ago I was dedicated or I was like very very motivated to move to New York. Now I'm in Texas.
New
That is
York is
fucking
a
crazy.
tough place to go, dude. I've been. I'm sure you've been too.
No,
But
I haven't. I
you
haven't.
haven't been to New
No,
York?
no, I'm
I
poor as fuck, man.
Same, but I got lucky enough to, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was a young punk, and I used to do music. And
Okay.
somebody let me go out there to cut some music. I actually went and performed at a on Bleecker Street. Shout out because they're not open anymore, but one of the dopest little clubs that ever existed right there in Manhattan. And brother, it was a beautiful experience. Like I did go to the Smithsonian and all that shit and check out that like all of the displays, and I walked the streets of New York. I got to see so much shit that like dude, they have a Naruto ramen out there. I don't know why they need that out there, but they have that out there. They have
Wait,
dollar
it's like a
pizza out
restaurant?
there. Yeah, a restaurant. Naruto ramen. No bullshit. That's the name of the restaurant. Naruto
That's
ramen.
that's
It's
pretty sick
insane.
though.
But it blew my mind everything that in New York where it just I don't know it was a great place to be, and I don't know, but it's tough. Like everything there comes with a cost. You got to
Yep.
know where you're at all times, and people say that
Yep.
about anywhere you go, but no, dude. There's something about New York that is just very intense and specific. And I got lucky because I had people who were like, let's just say I hung out with a semi dangerous crowd. I'm not no tough guy or whatever. I was just the
Right.
cool guy that everybody liked having around, which cool for me, you know. I don't think I'm that
Right.
cool, but I got to be lucky enough to be around certain shit, and like I have fun stories, and that's cool for me. And if I hadn't have been with certain people, I probably wouldn't have been all right in certain spots. Like it wasn't the
Right.
same as like, you know, you and I know Detroit well enough where again, you know certain places we can go, and I'll tell you, I did devilish things when I was in my teens. I went to Belle Isle for the creep on Fridays plenty of times as a little white boy, and never got pressed or had anybody say like, "Oh, you can't be here." Nope,
Right.
everybody was cool, and it was barbecues and smoking weed and drinking and having a good time, and you know, like people, you know, knew how to have a good time back then. Now, I'm not saying people are uptight, but bro, on a silly note, I don't think I saw a lot of Christmas lights this year. It was kind of depressing. So
Okay.
be happy that you weren't like, or if you have been back, I'm sorry if you had to see it, but I haven't seen shit. Like I'm being honest with you, it was just depressing to see like no spirit out there and people with shitty moods, like just a bunch of fucking Scrooges and Grinches. It was insane. And I know people can't just turn it on like a light, but you'd think people you want to try and come together and have a little goodness, and nobody's got any left. It's and it's even tougher out there in a place like New York, bro. Like that shit. I can only imagine what the fuck they're going through now with all the migrants that are out there and shit. Like I,
Zoran. Yeah.
yeah, dude, that shit's done. It's there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. You know what I'm saying, dude?
No, for real. And like I said, like 2, 3 years ago, everybody who was close to me would tell me, you should move to Austin. You should move to Austin where Joe Rogan's moving. And I understood why they were telling me that. I understand, like I do fit well down here. I guess I do fit in,
Yeah,
but I always had the mindset of, that's a smaller scene. I want to go to the big pond because I'm confident enough in myself to stick out in that big pond. But then
right.
as the time kept getting closer to like me actually moving, it started to come, well, do I really want to downgrade my life to live in straight poverty?
Yes.
Um, and then like so that was the big thing. So that was the big thing of like, do I really want to downgrade my life, live in straight poverty, live in a place that is politically just like hateful of each other, hateful of other people. It doesn't seem like the whole Daniel Penny situation on the subway. It seems like if you get caught up in a trial and you're any type of right wing influencer or you have any type of right wing support, people are just going to come at your throat and hate you for being any type of right wing. And like
Yeah.
it
Regardless
just
of the points you make.
yeah, and it's just I don't know. New York just seemed like the culture was just kind of like ugh. And one thing I will say is like coming out here, I'm super happy I moved to Austin, but my
Nice.
plan right now is spend at the most 5 years out here, and if there's not a reason to stay out here, then New York or LA, and then go see what's happening down there. Because eventually, if I don't do well enough to truly make it in comedy at one point in the next 10 to 15 years, I'll probably just stop doing stand up and just start directing films. Like that's always been the plan. And I feel like you got to be in New York or LA to do that. Austin's film scene is growing, but it's just so weird what's happening down here. Like it's such a small but huge scene that is just expanding so much.
Well, I
Um,
heard a lot
it,
of crazy shit when I went to Skankfest, and I talked about it so much, like to death, but I got to hang out with Tony and Red Band. Like I was in
oh,
a
really?
circle, dude. I was in a circle with those motherfuckers in Voss for like 15, 20 minutes riffing. Like they actually they came up to me type shit. Like I didn't
Oh
inject
shit!
myself into some shit. Yeah, I was in the main ballroom down in New Orleans, just standing there posted. Because one of the guys, I'd been busting my ass. I was working 18-hour shifts, Ken, and I wish I was
Okay.
exaggerating, but like, I'm an idiot, and when I'm somewhere I love, and I see how hard the people who actually are running the event are working, and they're doing 18, like, I'll do that. So I
Yeah.
helped out a lot, and one of the guys noticed that. He was like, "All right, look, I order you to go have fun. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna go like." I'm like, "But," and he's like, "No, that's what you're gonna do." So that's what I went and did, and everybody was really cool to me, and that's when I talked to Mullen and Talon, and the vibe was very different from anything I would have expected, man. Like everybody was, you know that saying of don't meet your heroes and shit, but that does not
Yeah.
apply. It was so full of shit, and even with even with Tony, and it's like I've talked about it on one of the bonus episodes, but like I don't want to say that I have a history with Tony and Redman, but I would say there's something there which we could talk about it after the ep. I don't mind telling you, no problem. But like I don't have issues with either of those guys, and when I hung out with them in that circle, like they obviously have no clue who I am. They're fucking millionaires, man. And
Right, right.
you kind of know, you read the room, and it's like when somebody's given you this much, you don't go and spoil that shit by bringing up something, because that's just bad taste, man. That's not what you're there for.
Yeah, I
And
totally agree.
a younger me would have been punk enough to be like, "Hey, motherfucker," but that's not where I'm at anymore. And I got so much from that experience just by giving people a chance to see where their head was at, see who they were. I mean, I even kind of stood up for Hinchcliffe on I think it was Loser Cast, because people weren't dunking on him, but they were kind of talking about Tony can be tough or whatever, and it's like maybe, but sometimes I think that motherfucker, like all of us, we get tired if we're going through so much shit. And it's like, I'm not saying that's an excuse to be perceived as rude or whatever, but you know what I mean, Ken.
Yeah.
Like, if you just got off a fucking long ass flight and you did a bunch of shows and you just were writing, and like now somebody wants to come up, and it's not that you want to tell them to fuck off, but sometimes you just don't have it for nobody anymore. Like, you're just out and you gotta.
There, no,
Um,
I agree completely. There's a reason why Tony walks around with two bodyguards in Austin, dude. And like I've seen that on Reddit and I've seen people try to talk shit. And I'm like, dude, if I was Tony, I'd have four bodyguards. I was like, Austin's fucking weird, and there's a lot of really weird, fucking
That's
crazy
so
people out here.
sad. He didn't have a single bodyguard with him when he was at Skankfest.
Really?
That's how
That is
safe he
hilarious.
felt. Yeah, because I
Wow, that
mean the
is hilarious.
Skanks, like that was my first Skank, but I heard so much about like he he loves it there, and the people love him. I loved his set
Yeah.
there. I thought he did a really good set. I mean, he was working on new material, and he had some shit about the president, and wasn't
Okay.
bad. I was like, all right, Tony, that's cool. But to have to hear that he's walking around with two fucking bodyguards down in Austin, like, that dude doesn't deserve that shit. Just because he does a show down at the mothership and he puts some people on, and like, you can have whatever opinions you want about that, but look at all the fucking people that come on and do panel for that show.
Yeah.
Like, big names that come and do panel. The way Adam Ray has come and worked that show
Yeah.
too is insane,
Yeah.
and people want
Yeah.
to get upset about this or that, and it's like, I'm sorry if your name never got pulled out of the fucking bucket, but maybe if your name never got pulled out of the fucking bucket, you should move on And I mean that. Like, that might be a low key sign that they don't want you. Because I know that it's not intentional where they're pulling certain names and trying to. But I know that a motherfucker doesn't get to go on, or they won't even look for them, or if they're a problem, or if they've heard rumors, or. And I get that. Like, there should be a certain. That's how it was
Yeah,
in the old days, back in the 40s, the 50s, like the Sinatra era. Holy
yeah,
shit, man! You would get your
yeah,
fucking legs broken and thrown out, and that's if you're lucky.
yeah.
And just
Be a
like,
white guy in that era. Be a white
yeah,
guy in that era, dude. Like,
yeah. They,
dude.
there was,
As a 6'5" white guy, if you transferred me back to the Sinatra era, I would not only be a famous comedian, I would also be in the NBA.
oh, of
So,
course, you'd be Larry Bird 2.0.
mhm.
You know, there'd be no. I don't know. It just.
Let me ask you this though. You said you heard some crazy stuff about Austin, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear like what did you hear about it, or what are some of the negatives or even positive things you've heard
All
about it?
right. So these are the negatives I've heard about it.
All right,
Not
lay
not
'em on me.
not insane homeless problem, but the homeless you have are insane. That's
Yeah,
what I've heard about that. Like,
yeah.
very insane, bad. Like, again, not overly populated with homeless people, but you've got a decent amount, and they're
There's
all
a lot.
fucking off their
They're
rocker.
they're aggressive. There's one of them was there's one of them that always sings like he was just singing Christmas carols throughout December, and then he usually sings the Beatles. I like him,
Ah, see, that's
you know.
fun.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fun. I like
And then
that.
the other week though, like well, I will say this: it's way worse if you're a woman. Way worse if
Oh,
you're a woman. I've had very little bad interactions with homeless people. My female friends have had worse interactions. They're more aggressive with females. They're more get in your face, ask you to buy them this, buy them that. Me, when I tell them no, they don't. They just fuck off. I will say this though. A couple weeks ago, I was driving and there was a homeless woman like in the middle of traffic. I was stopped at a light and she was going up to a bunch of cars and she she comes up to my car and then so and obviously like I was actually in a hurry. I was in a hurry trying to get to the mothership open mic, but she go like
and she
I think
wanted
she's
to
asking
suck
for.
your dick?
Yeah, I wish, dude. I wish, but I thought she was asking for money, right? And when I told her no, she got mad and then she smacked like the windshield of my car. And
Whoa.
then and then I immediately went from, oh no, I don't got it to you fucking bitch, get the fuck out of here, like just oh you're gonna hit my fucking Kia. And they it's but looking I actually want to talk about this on stage because looking back on it, I think I think she was going up to people's cars asking for a phone because she was doing like the phone thing. And I didn't really realize this at the time. But when she went up to my car, she goes up to a nicer car. She sees a white guy who looks like the epitome of a white privileged guy. I look like a fucking bully in a Disney Channel movie. And she sees me on a phone and she hears the John Cena theme song just blaring. And so by me telling her to go away, honestly, if I was her, I might have slapped my car hood too
Oh my
and my car window. Like I understand it now. You're asking for a phone, you see me on your phone, I'm not giving you the time of day, and you just hear the John Cena Time Is Now theme song just blaring. That would probably
Yeah,
piss me off
that's.
too. Like that.
I don't know if
Uh
I'd want to bang on that car. I think if I was a female, and I would be afraid you would murder me. I
yeah,
would be
as you
concerned about
should.
your mental state. Like, this is probably not somebody I want to piss off.
And like one thing about Austin is what I've like people have told me, and I've kind of seen it is like the cops don't like they don't care if you're smoking a joint in public. I mean, it is decriminalized here. They don't really care about shit like that. What they really
I'm
care
on
about is
record
people
saying they don't
fighting.
care about it in New Orleans. I'll be real. They
Oh,
like I smoked weed in front of cops in New Orleans.
right.
They did
And
not
I
care.
I feel like it's probably the same vibe, most liberal place in a very red state, probably same party vibe. But like here, they just worry about the homeless killing people and shit. So like yeah, the homeless problem is bad. I would say they need to do something about it. But the
I've
city
also
already
heard
does a
it's
lot.
dirty though. Like, that's another negative thing that I've heard specifically about Austin too, is that it's very A lot of trash, very dirty.
Yep, I would say, and being from the Detroit area, we kind of know what ghetto is, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
like dirt, like it's a very big city, and a lot of the comedians, like even myself, I feel like I'm always in the same little area on Sixth Street because that's where all the little open mics are. That's where all the shitty open mics are, where you can go hit up three in walking distance.
Right.
Down there, that it's Dirty Sixth for a reason. It is dirty. There is a lot of homeless. They're like where I park under like the highway where all the homeless people like either live or live in their car or live on the street. Like that's
That
where I
sounds
park.
fucking rough.
It's cheap parking, dude. It's only like $7 or $8. So, and it's right across the street from the police station. So it's kind of safe, kind of not.
Okay. No,
But
I
it
get it.
smells like hot piss. Dude, in the summer, it
Ah,
just smells
dude.
like hot piss, like hot Texas piss, man. Um,
Why
but
is
but
that
what else?
still happening? Like, not to diverge, but why is the parking everywhere? Every state you go, why is it getting so bad? Why are they just fucking everybody over no matter where you go? Insane price. That's how it was in New Orleans. You had to fucking
Bro,
watch your ass because if you didn't, they would tow you. Certain spots
yeah.
were not okay.
Well, one thing about Austin that I recently found out that I love is that if you're like drunk and you leave your car at like an overnight place where you're not supposed to and you get a ticket, you can literally like fight the ticket the next day and be like, "Oh, I got an Uber home. I was drunk." And they'll get rid of the ticket.
No
Like they
shit.
Yeah, they just really there was like a video on the news that like two of my friends just sent me because it kind of went viral because like people are always like, you know, when it's 2 o'clock on a Saturday or Friday night when all those bars close, dude, there's so many drunk drivers in that
Yeah.
little area. It's insane. Like it's so dangerous. So the city's just like, you know what, guys? Just go home, tell us about it, we'll get rid of the ticket. So
That's amazing.
yeah, no, that is the right type of progressive
It is
ism or
because they
whatever.
don't let you sleep in your fucking car anymore. If you have your keys with you, that's DUI. And how fucking
Yeah.
stupid is that? You can't be. I get that some people could use that as an excuse, getting caught or so. But motherfucker, if you literally pull up on somebody and they're asleep in the car and you see the keys are like in the trunk or something, and you're still
Yeah.
taking that motherfucker in, like, no, you're being shitty to somebody. Like you just don't understand that. Yeah, they had a little too much to drink, but they're not out there trying to murder somebody. And dude, I hear stories about from old timers in the 70s and the 80s how, man, if you were fucking drunk and high on coke, they didn't give a fuck. They'd be like, yeah, just follow me home. I'll get you home safe. You don't want to
Yep.
leave your car here, buddy. No, come on.
Yep.
And like, what the fuck? I'm not saying let's go back to that, but what the fuck has been
Yeah.
happening, man? Like, I don't know, and I want to just laugh at it all, but you know, some of this shit is not funny. Like, there's things I laugh at when I look at social media. I don't know if you saw that meme for a while, the bee drill coming bullshit.
I don't
Please
think
tell me
so.
you saw that, dude.
I don't think so.
Oh my god, somebody got into an argument on X and every reply was like Beedrill from Pokemon Stadium specifically. And this animation it does when it would use string shot and it makes it look like it's coming from its fucking little, the stinger. And no matter how many times the guy would be like, "Oh, that's so immature. You're a retard," the guy would just respond with a bead. Then he responded with like a green one. And it just kept going. Then somebody made like a Santa Claus one where instead it was shooting out presents instead. And it
That's
just grew
awesome.
into this fucking, yeah. It was like it was something I was happy to see for once. Where I was like, "Damn, dude." And then, you go on the other side of that, the dark side of the moon, and you got fucking Mark Norman, who's been on this really weird craze, and like, I have a love-hate relationship with Mark. I got to meet him at Skank too. It's like he's not a bad guy, but dude, he has been on a tear. There's something from a couple weeks ago I really didn't like when he was hanging out with Jerry, I really didn't understand Like it's great to have a conversation with Seinfeld, but I don't think you should talk about George Carlin and disparage his comedy, especially when I feel like certain parts of your comedy and your specials, you've taken little pieces of what Carlin used to do with wordplay and worked
Yeah.
them into your own bits, which that's fine to be inspired by shit and whatever. But you can't talk shit about somebody's comedy and act like they weren't a master of their craft. You could have an opinion of somebody, I guess, but it's just bad taste that you got Seinfeld on, and you think
Yeah.
that's what Seinfeld wants to fucking talk about. And then a couple episodes later, you got the Rizzler on, and he's sitting on your fucking lap. And he did say, like, oh no, people are going to take this out of context. Of course. I don't know like, what kind of context that's supposed to be taken, because you're not fucking Santa at the mall. You're not related to him, and the dad's right there like it's a humiliation ritual, and it's just like, yeah, come on, comedy, sit on my fucking knee, you queef. And I don't know what he was thinking, and I'm glad that Sam was even giving him shit, because that went on for like 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, you kind of made a mistake, buddy. We're going to get shut down. This is the last episode. It's just, I really fucking, there's too much weirdness where even the podcasts I want to enjoy, there's a couple I enjoy, but then you turn that on and you're like, what the fuck's going on, man? I just want to be able to laugh at you guys and not have the Rizzler sitting on somebody's lap. That's not what, you know what I mean, man. Like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
sound insane. It's just, oh, it's too much for me, bro. It
No,
is.
I would like to hear what he said about George Carlin because I didn't see that. I know he had Jerry Seinfeld on, or they had Jerry Seinfeld on, but I don't know really what he said about George Carlin.
Yeah, and it was not in good taste to, I don't know, just try and, I'm not sure if he said like he's not one of the best or how he took him apart, but it was like he needed to have an opinion about Carlin when you probably could have never said something like that for the rest of your career and been perfectly fine, man. You know, sometimes people open their mouth and you just remember shit where you know what their character's like. And I mean, Joe Budden's been around in the game for a minute. I haven't liked that motherfucker since back when he was on doing like live streams on justin.tv.
This is
And I remember I pulled up to one of them and he said Big Pun's Capital Punishment was the classic. And I axed out of the fucking chat immediately. I was like, never again, man. Never again. How dare you? Like that, you can't talk shit about people who did more than you ever could for the art that you occupy. And it's like,
yeah.
I've talked about Carlin. It doesn't matter if he was cranking out specials for his mob debt or whatever you want to talk about. The motherfucker was still putting out a lot of great material. He had a heart attack from it. Like,
Yeah.
that's how much he loved the game. He
Yeah.
put one out and then he croaked. It just,
Yeah.
what more do you want from the guy? Even Pryor was the same way, working up to the end where when he was in the wheelchair, still doing bits, still being funny. And
Yeah.
you know, you either go out like that or you go out like fucking Cosby, dropping a little bit of this and that, and
Yeah.
or the
And
diddler and
you know, I don't hate a lot of comedians. Like like when I first started this, I was such a comedy nerd that like I appreciate all forms of comedy. So I don't hate on a lot of comedians. I guess I do hate on a lot of local comedians. I'll say that. Like
right.
if you've made it and you're funny, that there's like there's comedians who I don't who are really good who I'll watch them and I'll be like, I don't think you're great, but I see why you're doing really well. You know?
Yes. Like
Um,
they figured out that part of the algorithm that they need to tick in order to hit that specific thing to make it
yeah,
profitable, to stick around, and they're never going to go away because they've gotten that pull. 100%, bro.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Uh, and you know, I don't know how you could really talk shit about Carlin.
Yeah.
Like it's like I like and I mean I've seen like the Carlin documentary where like obviously like in the 80s it was cool to like shit on Carlin when he kind of fell off, and then he came back. But like Carlin to me is probably he's definitely in my Mount Rushmore of comedians, but he's
Yeah.
probably the best writer or the best artist that ever did comedy.
Yeah, that's a
Like I think he's at
fair.
least one of them too.
No,
I
that's
don't think
very
he's the
fair.
funniest. I don't think he's the funniest of all time. But I think he's my favorite, but I don't think he's the funniest. If
No,
that
it's
makes
tough.
sense.
It's tough to say who's the funniest anyway, because you're right. In a Mount Rushmore, he's up in there. But like, if you even want to go into different forms of comedy to try and find out who's the best, like this is going to be a weird curveball, but who's to say Andy Kaufman isn't the best? Who's to
Yeah,
say that he didn't truly do comedy the way it was meant to be done?
yeah,
And the rest of us are just playing at an act, or we're,
he,
reiterating something that's already been done. And
yeah.
I mean,
But
Sam Hyde is the closest to Kaufman right now that I think is. I love Sam. I think what he does is great. I didn't get to meet him at Skank. He had to fucking sit that one out, but I got to talk to
okay,
Rochefort a little bit, and
that's dope.
yeah, man, it's
I
the
mean,
same energy from him. Like, there's certain things where, like, just like even this, a pod is fun, right? It's cool to be able to listen to something. And I try to do something a little different, man. It's so stale out there, and you get bored of the same thing a little bit different. So if you just try to push something further and go away from the traditional, there's certain people that stick around. Like one episode I did, I got 200 views. That made me feel cool. And we all get like millions of views on our channel at some point, and you get jaded a little bit or whatever. Like I've had
right.
good success in the past, and if this pops off, it's cool. If something with this podcast goes, it's fun. But dude, I've been having more fun being able to just kind of step in and hang out with people than ever before. Like it's been really cool. Just dude, hopping on podcasts with people, and the idea that people want me to come on and talk, and like that's the fun part for me. All the other shit is kind of just whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I'll say to get things to take off is one thing, but to have longevity is a completely another thing. I think even Kill Tony, they did it for some odd years before it truly became a success. It took like 7 years or at least five,
Yeah, it was very
something.
like local hero. You're not wrong, and
Yeah,
got a specific amount of views on YouTube, and like it did well. It just wasn't. So it took a grind, and some things do take a while. And you're right, you can either be a climber, and a lot of people don't like those individuals, and you'll find success if you want to pimp the algorithm, but if it's
yeah,
better to just kind of be true. And I want to get into things for the right reasons. Like this happened for the right reasons. Me getting to talk to you right now, I don't feel like I had to force something, and I don't ever want to bully my way into circles with people either. So it's just humbling when people
yeah,
kind of, just it's a welcoming atmosphere instead of feeling weird about something, because we all know we can make shit happen, but that's not what it's always about. It's about more than that. You got to make sure other people are cool with things and the vibe is right. And I know we're coming up on that hour time. We could probably go a little longer, but I'll cut it short right here. And I want you to be able to plug anything that you got coming up, tour dates and any socials that you want people to follow.
Oh, dude, I am not doing shit right now. I just took a month off. I went back to Michigan, took a month off. So now I don't really have anything booked. I don't think I do. And I'm just working, trying to, at this point, just trying to work, man. So socials, Seven Dads TV and Kenwood Comedy on YouTube, at the underscore Wood 95 on Twitter, Kenwood Comedy on Instagram, and just look out for me, dude, because I just got to go super hard with content and keep building up, my stand up to when I get an opportunity. And hopefully I get on Kill Tony soon, man, because I'm one of those people that have been trying to have not got fucking on yet, dude. And it'd be rough.
I
It'd
don't
be
know.
rough.
Maybe you need to pull up to a skank fest. I mean that. Like, it changed
Man,
my life. As goofy as that sounds, like, just I,
the
I don't know.
like right now, man, it coming out here, being out here 6 months. like I said, I'm super happy I moved out here. But part of me is like, how, like, I'm truly at the point where I'm like, how the fuck do I become a top dog out here without a Kill Tony push? And I think it's possible. I think I have my ways. I think that with the way I'm working right now and being able to get out content, I think I'm going to start moving my way up the ladder on other platforms other than Twitter. Um,
As you should.
so yeah, so now I'm super excited about that. But like here, it's just like I feel like Austin's just one city where like everyone like it's a show business city. So like I've had this conversation with a lot of really good comedians, a lot of good comedians who like are above me. And it's a show business city. So it's like it's a city that I don't want like it's like LA. Like LA is built on lies and show business. And Austin is kind of like that. People think they're gonna get on Kill Tony once and they're gonna blow up, and it's not really like that.
That's not what
So,
happens.
no. And even I think you probably saw, but like one of my friends from Michigan won a
Yeah, I
golden
did.
ticket on Kill
I saw
Tony.
that. I did
Yeah.
see that, and I know a couple guys. I met a guy at Skankfest. Shout out to Tolu. Bit like big shout out to Tolu because that motherfucker looked out for me big at Skank, and he's a dope ass humble dude. He
Hell
was in
yeah.
he volunteered for the fights, but he was the dude that went out on like at Madison Square Garden when the Harlan Williams episode.
Yeah.
That's the Tolu I'm talking about. He's a
Okay, okay,
cool,
okay.
yeah. So like, I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. Like, he got famous from that, but at the same time, like, not everybody gets Cam Patterson level. That doesn't
Right.
happen for everybody. You're not gonna end up on SNL if you have the talent and you've got a good set. You do the interview well, because even Tony says that. Sometimes it's really the interview that sells you. It's not the comedy.
Yeah.
So I think you're good enough, man, whether you get on there or not. I'd love to see you get on there. And since you don't have anything going on for this next month, I'll definitely I'll pester you a little bit if you want to. I don't know if what Dave and Dalton have going on. I never want to speak on their behalf, but I'm sure they'd love to have you on Corn Fed if you want to fucking rotate through some of these
Yeah,
dark
I'd be
web
down, man.
podcasts, man. I'd definitely enjoy riffing with you again, bro. And like I said, I make sure everybody go follow him, but check out Seven Dads. This motherfucker made a 6 and 7 reference before that was even a thing. And I'm not gonna tell you what episode. You can go hunt for that yourself, Ken. You called that shit out before anybody knew. So props to you,
Can
bro.
I?
Yeah,
Wait, how did I
motherfucker,
do
you
that,
did.
dude?
I swear, bro. You got a 6-7 reference and it was insane. I was like, this
That's crazy.
motherfucker time traveling. But
This
yeah.
is
Thank you guys. I appreciate you. We will be back. I don't know if we're going to do a bonus or what's happening, but we will be back. I'll try to come back next week, but thank you everybody for tuning in. And Ken, thank you so much for hanging out, my friend.
Thank you for having me, brother.